Jeff's Superscript is brought to you by Black Cat Comics and Collectibles, in my opinion, the best comic shop and clubhouse on the internet. Make sure to follow them at Black Cat Burbank on Instagram and ask them about their Stray Cats Club for special perks. Hi, I'm Jeff, and welcome to another one of my videos where I take a look at all the new comic books coming out on either October 26th or 27th, 2021, and I ask myself the question, what one new comic book would I buy this week if I could buy just one book? I want to take a quick moment once again to thank all my new subscribers. They just keep coming. I'm really super excited about that. So thank you to all of you who have subscribed. If you haven't already, I would invite you to join the club and subscribe. And also you might consider liking this video if you are so inclined. Okay, let's go ahead and jump right into the content for this video. First, by taking a look back 2 weeks to my pick from 2 weeks ago, which was The Immortal Hulk, issue number 50. And the question remains, was it a worthy and worthwhile pick to be my just one book pick of the week? And the answer is, yeah. Yeah, you know, it was. This was a pick that was kind of a pick I had for y'all. It really wasn't a pick for me. I didn't plan on picking up this book because I have not been reading The Immortal Hulk. Even though I've heard all of these fantastic things about it, I just hadn't been picking it up for no good reason. But I decided, since it was kind of a light week and it was my pick, and I'm just going to go ahead and pick it up. And I'm going to read it, and I'm going to see what it was all about. Let me tell you, I liked it. It's a very kind of cerebral Hulk story, and I have a feeling that it's been that way this entire time. It's not so much about Hulk, battling things that he can smash with his fists, although he does punch some things the best he can. It's more about him battling like his internal demons, and more, he's asking the question, why do I exist? That's pretty existential for a Hulk comic book, but let me tell you, it was entertaining, and it had some really cool moments and some really cool elements to it. I really enjoyed it. So if I was to base the entire Hulk series off of that last issue, I would understand why people have been excited about that series, and that it's probably pretty unfortunate that it's coming to an end. It does tee up the next Hulk run that will be coming from Donny Cates with a new Hulk series, started with a new issue 1 in just a few weeks. So it kind of like cleans the slate a little bit and kind of allows Donny Cates to take Hulk where I guess Donny Cates is inclined to take Hulk, and I'm looking forward to checking that out as well. So this was a book I enjoyed reading. It's got me interested and excited for the Donny Cates run, and I'm going to check it out and see where we go from there. All right, let's continue this video by taking a look at my picks for this upcoming week. As always, I have my 5 honorable mentions and my pick for this week. Let's get started with those honorable mentions. The first of which is Star Wars War of the Bounty Hunters IG-88, issue number 1. This is a one-shot from Marvel Comics. Here's the description. No one can defeat IG-88. War of the Bounty Hunters tie-in. IG-88 is an advanced assassin droid designed for death, destruction, and mayhem. Its weapon systems are unparalleled, its design flawless. Yet the galaxy's most sinister droid bounty hunter can still fail. What motivates IG-88's resurrection time and time again? Is it programming or something more? And can IG-88 find a strategy to overcome its old foe, Boba Fett? Rodney Barnes's and Guiu Villanova's one-shot is the 4th of 4 action-packed War of the Bounty Hunters tie-ins about the criminal underworld's most notorious hunters and scoundrels, all told by the best Star Wars writers and illustrators in the galaxy. Okay, so War of the Bounty Hunters has been entertaining. It's been, I've enjoyed I would say limited to exposure to it because it's been all-encompassing in all the Star Wars titles, and I've been focusing on the main Star Wars title and the War of the Bounty Hunter, was it a 5-part tie-in series. These one-shots I have not been checking out. There was a Jabba the Hutt one, and there was there were other ones. This one I mean, IG-88 is cool. Star Wars is cool. So if you like cool, this might be something for you, you know? If you're a really, really hardcore Star Wars fan, I bet you're super excited about this. IG-88 is a character that I don't know that there have been very many stories about, but if you saw the IG-88 episodes of The Mandalorian, he's awesome. He's really cool. So I can totally see why they're giving him his own one-shot. It's fully appropriate here in a War of the Bounty Hunters series, you know, as a bounty hunter himself. Anyways, I'm going to stop rambling about it. All I'm going to say, once again, IG-88 is cool. Star Wars is cool. So if you're looking for some coolness this week, this might be a book to check out. The next book I want to mention to you is a new book called Cross to Bear, issue number 1 from Aftershock Comics. Here's the description. Jack the Ripper was never caught because no one was looking for him in the Wild West. No one except the Order, an organization made up of the descendants of crusaders sworn to eradicate the unnatural. The Order will stop at nothing to fulfill the pledge their forefathers made, even if it means crossing the ocean or a line or two. This is a book that I was looking at as I was looking through all the kind of new books or books in general that are coming out this week. And I read this one and it caught my eye and I thought, I'm going to bring this one up. This is one that I hadn't heard of. It really wasn't on my radar. But the premise sounds pretty interesting. Jack the Ripper is hiding in the Wild West. And this organization, made up of descendants of crusaders, is going to stop at nothing to find him. I don't know, it sounds interesting. Jack the Ripper is a cool story. You got crusaders, you got historical elements. I don't know exactly what it is, but I gotta tell you, this one sounds interesting to me. If you're looking for something kind of fringy to try this week, you might consider picking up Cross to Bear. The next few books I'm going to mention to you, I have to admit, I gave a little bit of bias this week toward Halloween-themed books. Yes, this is the week of Halloween. Halloween is this upcoming Sunday. I hope you all have a happy and safe Halloween. But since it's coming up, I thought, let me give a little bit of extra special attention to some Halloween books that are coming out this week. And frankly, there were a handful of them. I'm going to feature the ones that are most interesting to me, and they just happen to all be essentially like DC books. DC's kind of going for it on Halloween, and I give them a thumbs up for it. But let's not delay this any further. The next honorable mention I have this week is Batman, The Long Halloween Special, issue number 1. This is a one-shot from DC Comics. Here's the description. 25 years ago, you thought you knew the whole story of Batman, The Long Halloween. Now, legendary creators Jeff Loeb and Tim Sale return to Gotham City to reveal that no secret remains buried forever. Join us for the return of the Batman Halloween specials and a mystery that could destroy Batman, Commissioner Gordon, Two-Face, and, well, that would be telling, wouldn't it? Okay. The Long Halloween is one of the best maxi series, I guess they call them, 12-part series, ever, potentially. It's a really good one. It's one that I was always familiar with and I'd always heard such great things about. I actually was loaned a copy of the collected trade paperback of it few months ago, and I read through it and I was like, I get why people like this so much. It is really, really good. And I swore halfway through it that I knew exactly what who done it. And I was wrong. So I really appreciate the fact, and the payoff wasn't cheap. So I liked it a lot. It's a classic, and considering that it's Halloween coming up and this is attached to a classic Batman story that's kind of actually in a lot of ways framed the Batman that we know today and the relationships Batman has, you'd be surprised. You read this and you're like, wow, everything that's like Batman related these days is kind of rooted in this story. So considering its significance, considering it's Halloween, I had to put it on my list. The next book I want to mention to you is a new book called Task Force Z. Issue number 1 from DC Comics. Here's the description. In life, they've terrorized the people of Gotham. Now, they are Gotham's last hope. Task Force X saw villains working their way to freedom. Task Force Z will see dead villains working for a new chance at life. On A-Day, the attack on Arkham Asylum left hundreds of Gotham's most cunning and deranged criminals dead. Now, a mysterious benefactor has activated the government's task force clause to bring them back as the ultimate army of the night. To lead this team of the undead, only a person who knows exactly what it feels like to be brutally murdered and brought back to life can handle the job. Enter Red Hood. But when Jason Todd unravels the mystery surrounding Task Force Z's creation, will he try to destroy it or embrace it? Bane, Man-Bat, the Arkham Knight, Sundowner, Mr. Bloom, Red Hood. They are Task Force Z, and death was just the beginning. Okay. Possibly any other week, I would be like, what? Wait, what? Is this canon, or is this kind of like just fringy, like just kind of fun side story stuff? It seems like this is canon, dude. It seems like this is a thing that's actually happening in the DC universe. And although it's kind of blowing my mind, it's Halloween, man. This is a perfect story for Halloween. So it sounds actually like a fun, kind of cool idea. They've found a way to reanimate these villains to fight for the forces of good. Okay, all right. I'm laughing because, like I said, any other week I would be like, this is crazy. But this week on Halloween, I'm like, perfect. They picked the perfect week to put this book out. It appears to be an ongoing. So if you're into fun, if you're into zombies, if you're into the DC, especially specifically the Gotham universe, this might be a book you consider checking out this week. Okay, we are going to continue here with the return of a feature that is often presented in these videos. It is the return of Tynan Time. Yes, Tynan Time is back again this week. The first thing I want to mention to you in Tynan Time is DC versus Vampires, issue number 1 of a 12-part limited series from DC. Here's the description. The Justice League has long protected Earth from all manner of foreign and alien invaders over the years, always keeping a vigilant eye to the skies for the next threat. But what if the threat was already walking the Earth, hiding in plain sight, watching, waiting for their moment to strike? In the tradition of Deceased comes a terrifying new series from the twisted minds of James Tynion IV, Matthew Rosenberg, and Otto Schmidt that will tear the Justice League apart in their war with the undead. Happy Halloween, everybody! Yes, we have DC versus Vampires, once again, in the tradition of Deceased. So instead of being a zombie-themed kind of Elseworlds tale of the DC universe, we are now getting a a vampire-themed Elseworlds kind of tale here in the DC universe. So I have a positive bias for this book and a negative bias. The positive bias is obvious. I love James Tynion IV. I think he's amazing. Everything he does, I'm into. My negative bias is I'm not really into vampires. I like monsters and I like occult and horror and things like that. But vampires, I don't know, maybe over the years, vampires, I've just been inundated, I think, with vampires. It seems like vampires are the go-to monster a lot of the time, and I'm just like, there's too much vampire. I just don't want anything to do with vampires anymore. But in the hands of James Tynion IV, now I'm curious. I wasn't going to pick this up. I was going to take a pass on this, and you guys know how much I love James Tynion IV. But the more and more I think about this book, the more and more I'm like, okay, Jeff, it's Halloween week. It's James Tynion IV. Pick up issue number 1. If you like it, keep going. And if you don't like it, just be like, happy Halloween, Jeff. Hope you enjoyed at least a little bit of a something something. But given the fact that it's from my guy, JT4, I have to be optimistic that it might be worth checking out. So I definitely had to recommend it to all of you. But that brings us to my pick of the week. The book that I would buy this week, if I could buy just one book, is House of Slaughter, issue number 1 from Boom Studios. Here's the description. Discover the inner workings of the House of Slaughter in this new horror series exploring the secret history of the order that forged Erica Slaughter into the monster hunter she is today. You know Aaron Slaughter as Erica's handler and rival, but before he donned the black mask, Aaron was a teenager training within the House of Slaughter. Surviving within the school is tough enough, but it gets even more complicated when Aaron falls for a mysterious boy destined to be his competition. Dive deeper into the world of Something is Killing the Children in this first story arc by co-creator James Tynion IV and co-writer Tate Bromble, with art by rising star Chris Sheehan and co-author Werther Dell'Edera. Co-creator, Werther Dell'Edera. Okay, for those of you that watch my videos week after week after week after week, once again, thank you so much. You all know how much I love Something is Killing the Children. It is my favorite book out, but it is on hiatus. We're not going to see any issues of Something is Killing the Children for a minute. To fill the void, we have this new series coming out, House of Slaughter. Now, some people think that they're going to scoop up a tons of copies of this book and that they're going to make a ton of money because they think, oh, this is Something is Killing the Children was so popular and the first, 5 to 10 issues of the series are so valuable right now. I'm going to pick this up and the same thing is going to happen. No, that's not going to happen. There were 460,000 copies of this first issue ordered by retailers. It is either I've heard different things. I don't know if it actually outsold Berserker issue number 1. If it didn't, it was in second place behind Berserker number 1, being one of the most heavily ordered books in decades. So there's going to be a ton of these out there. So do I anticipate these to increase in value? Maybe a little bit. Yeah, I am hopeful that there's going to be a Something is Killing the Children television show, and I am guessing that it probably won't just pull stories from the main Something is Killing the Children title. It'll also pull stories from this House of Slaughter title. So when that happens, you know how when things get on a television screen or a movie screen, it tends to pop up the value of the book that's connected to it. So possibly these books could increase in value, but nowhere near as significantly as Something is Killing the Children has. But that's not why you pick this up. You pick this up because the world that James Tynion IV has created with Something is Killing the Children is really, really cool. And I am all about learning more about it, getting more in depth into that world. But that being said as well, Aaron Slaughter is not Erica Slaughter. Erica Slaughter is super badass. Aaron, to some people, is a little annoying. And if you read Something is Killing the Children, you know what happens to Aaron. So I don't expect it to have the same magic. or the same appeal that Something is Killing the Children has. But Something is Killing the Children is so good, James Tynion IV is so good, that I expect this to be good as well. However, another reservation I must admit I have about this book is that James Tynion IV is a co-writer on this with Tate Bromble. Now, James Tynion IV has got a lot on his plate right now, and I understand why he might be looking for a co-writer. I just hope that they're not tagging James Tynion IV's name onto it so that people are, who love James Tynion IV will carry over to this title, and that most of the work is being done by Tate Bromble. And in addition, I don't know anything about this Tate Bromble. Hopefully they are super fantastic writer. But basically what I'm saying is that there's a lot of things that give me a little bit of pause about this. Potential reservations that I have about it, but I'm absolutely going to buy it. I'm absolutely looking forward to it. I'm absolutely going to read it. And I'm hopeful that it is going to be, if not as good as Something is Killing the Children, I doubt it's going to be as good as Something is Killing the Children. But I think it's going to give me more of a world that I have come to love very, very, very much. So for all those reasons, that is why House of Slaughter is my just one book pick for this week. All right, if you knew what books were coming out this week, if you knew this was coming out this week, you knew it was going to be my pick. And if you didn't know this was coming out, well, you're welcome. Now you know you should go get it. You shouldn't have a hard time finding it at all. But I definitely recommend picking it up and checking it out for the read. If you like this list, thank you very much. Likes are appreciated by me. If there's something I left off the list that you're excited about this week, let me know down in the comments. If one of my honorable mentions is your pick of the week, let me know that down in the comments as well. Once again, if you haven't subscribed, I invite you to subscribe. If you haven't already liked this video, I would invite you to like this video. Thank you all so much for watching this video. I'll see you in the next one.